Hello, everyone. I'm very pleased to be here today, and I'm going to guide you today through my presentation that I give to bankers in order to tell you how I sell to the corporate banks. Now, what I'm going to tell you today and how I do it maybe will not reflect you in your individual use case. So whatever I do may and will help you in all the cases, but not in all. So I'm not giving you a magic wand how to perceive. So first of all, when you are trying to sell and you are selling to the corporate banking sector, there are three things you need to clear out before getting to the meeting. Otherwise, it's going to be a waste of time. First of all, you need to validate yourself as a person. Do they trust you? Do you have a recognition, either from your peers or from another bank or from a person who knows the person? My ideal customer profile within the banking institution is member of the board for the operations. If he is not present, then he's subsidiary, he's deputy. That's first thing. The second thing is your company validated on the market or validated by someone else to that bank? And the third thing is there a problem that is big enough, sufficient enough that they are willing to spend their money and to listen to you? So first of all, about that. Who we are Uhura Solutions. And we are based in UK. We have been invested by Barclays, Techstars, Superseed Ventures, South Central Ventures, and we have been invested so far by 2.6 million US. This slide is giving to the members of the board that they are speaking to a company that is working in a highly competitive market that is so far very successful. First thing is, when I go to the meetings, I'm trying and I'm defining the use case that I'm going to present, actually to put a bait to the members of the board that are willing to buy. Here is the customer need that every banker relates to, and this is what we are resolving. It's a huge amount of documents coming within the organization that if it's manually processed, it creates a burden and it's labor-intensive, error-prone, and costly. They immediately click on this one. When we are talking to them, what we are correlating is that we will apply to your system as you have it right now. In the AI space, there are a lot of talks, a lot of buzzwords. AI is not a magic wand. AI will do what you tell him to do. It's a very simple sentence. But in order to tell AI what you need to do, you need to be able to adopt to their individual processes. So our platform will adopt to their documents, banking documents, and to their processes. Again. Okay. And I have the ability and the privilege to say to them that I'm already in production with other banks. So like my previous speaker told to us, go for the smaller deals. We went from, let's say, medium-sized banks all the way to the large corporate banks. So these figures that you see here are actually measured by my clients in production. And the third one is very interesting for every member of the boards, is cost reduction over 85%. Now, how we do that? It's technology, it's buzzwords, machine learning, natural language processing, workflow engines, and I always emphasize the word low-code framework, which means that anyone within your organization can work with the platform without any IT knowledge. And this is the one thing that we have specialized as a company in recent years, is the fine-tuned of the LLMs, and this has been proved in use case by use case by use case. When you're implementing AI in financial industry, you need to fine-tune AI models in order to satisfy the client's needs. I have a situation where one document is coming to 5 banks, and believe it or not, there are 5 different processes within the banks that are managing the same document. So we are specialized in the fine-tuning of the large language models in order to fit the banking need. Okay. Something with this clicker. Okay, it's okay. This part of the slide is telling to them that on top of all the documents, then I'll give you the signal. Is that better? The battery. Okay. This part of our platform is actually enabling our clients, the banks, to design the process to their own need. On top of document classification, data extraction, giving business meaning to this data, they can design their own workflow processes as per their need. Next slide. Great. And we boil it down to 3 major functionalities. We can classify the documents, extract key important data, give a business meaning to this data, and then based on that data, we can provide the data and the documents to your third-party system, or you can put your own logic into our platform. Okay, workflow engine. Low-code framework, we have developed a platform that anyone within the institution can actually work with the platform on drag and drop. No IT knowledge whatsoever. But at this situation, during the conversation, usually comes the questions how you deploy the solution. If the IT person is present on that meeting, that's a very good sign in general. That means that they are thinking how to deploy your solution, not only about their problem. So I'm thinking about the next steps. This part is actually saying that our platform can have several parts: machine learning, builder, natural language processing, workflow, AI copilot, so we can adapt to various of their use cases. Implementation examples. Design behind the entire company was that we can work with any type of industry, but long time ago in a galaxy far away, I was a banker. So my first client was banks. That's why we sell to the corporate banks. Implementation examples can be within the banking industry, in the KYC, loan application, ESG reports. Usually before the meeting, get prepared and define the use case that you're going to talk in details. This slide is actually meant for that one. And here I have a statement from one of my clients who measured 20-to-1 ratio in terms of efficiency by implementation of our platform. This slide tells and I tell him to you today that we can adapt to their processes, to their documents, regardless of the type of document. The biggest issue is the sign and scan PDF that comes in as a picture. And by this time within the meeting, usually there are already questions about the use cases, and I'm telling to them that we can adopt with one platform, we can go in several departments. And by this time within the meeting, they already have this first use case that we are already prepared for, and they have second, third, and fourth. And I always say to my customers, let's start with first use case, with one use case. So we can build, deploy, and operate at scale. Once when we implement one use case, on top of that, we can have a second, the third, the fourth, so entire organization can see the benefits from our platform. Service deployment models, very interesting situation. We started as a cloud platform, 2019. And that was the buzzword all the time. And I went to my first customer and told him, I have a solution for your problem. And he told me how it works. He's very interested, member of the board, the entire story. And then when I said I'm on the cloud only, he says, interview stopped. And he told to me, if you want to work with me, and he's willing to buy, which is very good incentive at that moment, you need to go on-prem only in terms of data protection. So I went to my CTO, and I had to adopt, and this is in the corporate sales situation, I have to adopt to my client's need. So this is like a catch, chicken or egg. They like the fine-tuning of the solution, but don't go too far. So in this particular situation, we had to, it was a blocking point. So we spent like 3 to 6 months actually, to redesign our platform to be cloud only, to be both cloud and on-prem. So we have like 10 implementations so far, out of which 8 are on-prem only, 2 are cloud, and now banks are willing to migrate to cloud, to OpenAI, to large language models that are on the market. Now we come to this slide. I should be showing this slide even at the first stage. So when I go to the next logo, to the next bank, when I show this slide, if they are familiar with the banking industry, Southeast Europe, they say, okay, good. If they are not, perhaps they are knowing. The biggest problem with this slide and in the client sales is getting the first logo on the PowerPoint presentation. Now, for a startup company that is starting to work with the banks, getting inside, putting your foothold within the organization is extremely difficult. Because whatever bankers are saying, we want to change, we want digitalization, we want to implement new technologies, they're always an issue when a smaller company is starting to work with a big organization. So in our case, what proved very successfully, that we resolved one issue with one bank on one market, and it immediately expanded forward. In the first deals, that the startup company is getting, and it's also a chicken and egg situation because of the VC funds, you cannot expect to monetize your solution as the way that you will be like you are already developed. So I was always saying to my co-founders, let's get the first client in for a fair price on the market, and then we will expand. So once when we get one use case, we are just expanding on and on. For example, I'll just give you a case. One of these logos, I won't mention which one, we had a value of the contract about 23K euros. How much do you think it's big or now? Not big. Let's raise your hands. 23K euros per year, big amount or small amount? What do you think? Small. Okay. If we didn't have that case, we would not get to a deal that is 400K euros per year. So that's also get prepared and get ready when you are in this type of sales. So when you go to the market, you cannot expect that the first or second deal is going to be monetized as the value that you are referring to. So it's going to be a third, a second, a fourth, a fifth one. Also, when we were talking about this was a deal about one of these logos, and now we are an RFP for the group contract. We started as value of the deal was again about 20K euro. Now we are first in line for all the members of the group because they were satisfied with that first use case, and they defined 27 processes, 3 markets, 4 banks, and we are the first in line to implement that. And that deal is like it's 6-digit deal, basically. How big 6-digit, low or high, I don't know, we'll see. So get prepared for that one. And when you are in this corporate sales, now VC funds, where I'm just having a conversation this morning with them, I'm the sales co-founder who is doing the sales. I'm the electrical engineer, banking, ex-banking. How you are going to sell to the large corporate banks? Well, through these deals, we are now discussing with one of the biggest banks in Europe. We also started as a local deal in Serbia. Their mother bank is one of the biggest banks in Europe. And with them, we are getting, most probably end of Q3, beginning of Q4, we're going to close a deal that is going to cover basically entire Southeast Europe and then the rest of the world. Now, does anyone have any questions, doubts, what I just said? I deliberately left time to speak about it.
You're done with the presentation?
Yeah, I'm done with the presentation.
Okay, great. Well, first of all, thank you very much for your presentation. Stay with us for a moment.
Yeah, sure.
So, if you could maybe just think back, Mladen, to the very first deal that you closed.
Yeah.
Yeah? What tipped the scales in your favor for that very first conversation? What do you think was the difference maker for you?
Difference maker for us was that we persuaded member of the board for operations that we can resolve his issue at a fair price. Okay. He was willing to go to talk to the startup company, to try the POC, to see the validation, and then by the way, we upsell them 3 times, 3x now. Okay,
so you found an internal champion who was willing to take the risk.
Who is willing to take the risk, yeah.
Okay, all right. What would you recommend to some founders out there who are looking to sell to banks, insurance companies, similar type of category? Should they get started in that process? If you just kind of could go through the first kind of top 3 things they have to focus on.
Well, I said at the beginning of the presentation.
Yeah.
First of all, they themselves needs to be validated.
Yeah.
Their company needs to show some traction. Either members of their team have shown traction in previous work, like was with me or my CTO, and then they need to find a problem within that institution that they are willing to pay for. Otherwise, it's going to be a waste of time.
Absolutely.
And on top of that, not only waste of time, it could be a situation that you have a 5 minutes, 10 minutes with the member of the board, or his subordinate, or his digital operation, digital transformation, and then you just waste the time, and then the doors are closed. For the next meeting of that purpose, cold emails, LinkedIn campaigns, they can work for the first maybe interview. Later on, it's not going to, especially in the Southeast Europe, which most of our logos are here based.
Right. One final question, maybe somewhat controversial because we live in a very relaxed, casual, hoodie world. How important is it to wear a suit and tie to a meeting with a bank?
Not important. Today I'm wearing because I had another meeting with a diplomacy representative from UK to Slovenia. So
okay, but it's not. You think part of the image that you want to present.
Not that much. like if you're having a face-to-face meeting
Yeah.
and you are going to visit the C-suite level, although the bankers today are not wearing a suit tie like I'm wearing today, it is a good sign from your side that both you and your friends who are or company members of your team who are getting to the meeting to wear a suit tie. It's not mandatory.
Not mandatory, but maybe builds trust.
Yeah, maybe builds trust.
Level.
But maybe call me old-fashioned.
Exactly. Thank you very much. Thank you.